Okay, Martin, game against Tamworth this weekend, a perfect opportunity to put last week's defeat to bed and move forward.
Yeah, we've got to get back to winning ways. You know, we're on such a good run, and you know, I thought looking at Stockport, I feel that the performance was was very good second half. I thought we started the game off well first half. We finished the game off quite strong at half time. We had a 7-minute window. We conceded 2 goals, which sort of, you know, you go in half time sort of, you know, scratching your head a little bit. But we did feel that, you know, if we could have kept a clean sheet second half and we got a goal early on, we could have kicked on. So we take the positives out of the game, and the previous games build up to that. You know, the momentum has been good. So there's lots of positives to take out the Stockport game without the result. Obviously going into Tamworth, you know, I think, you know, we've got to go there a point to prove. You know, they pinched a 2-1 win against us here, which was very, very disappointing on the day, and you know, we deserved more than that on the day here. So we've got to go there all guns blazing to get a performance and get 3 points.
Yeah, 3-2 it was, but you take your point. They scored right at the end, didn't they? After you came back with just 10 men to equalise.
Yeah, a moment of madness. I remember it without going through it in detail too much. But yeah, it was a given, and we've had to improve from that mentality of being too open and, you know, players playing in the wrong positions at the wrong stages of the game. So we've got to go there, be solid. It's a plastic pitch. You know, we've trained Thursday, Friday this week on a plastic pitch ourselves, just to get used to the surface. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. But you know, it's a real good game that we're looking forward to. You know, since Dyche has left there, you know, their form's dropped dramatically. You know, he's been hard to replace, as he would be. So you know, it's we're looking forward to this game. And as I said to you, you know, we've got to make sure that we come back with 3 points.
And because of the surface, is it more important than ever this weekend? It's all about the mindset of you arriving there and being prepared and ready to play on that pitch.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's there's no excuses. What we've trained on this week has been as good as anywhere. You know, regarding what we have in the city. So, you know, the players know what we expect. You know, they've had a real grilling today off me. You know, it was one or two things. You know, it's the standards that we've got to maintain in this football club, and by no means they're going to go into this game this weekend with a lax mindset. You know, they've had a real tough day today, and we've got to make sure that mentality, which I expect, has got to come through in performances as well.
We'll come on to formations and things like that in just a second. But how do you plan for playing on that pitch compared to a grass pitch? What do you need to do differently on that pitch in Tamworth than what you would do, say, at Stockport last week or even here at Bridham Crescent?
You can't blame the bubbles, that's for one. So that excuse goes. But you know, the ball is true. It's gonna move probably a little bit quicker. You know, I think the Harrogates and the Tamworths do get used to that. They train them, they play on it, and I think it does maybe give them a slight advantage. But hey, it's a game of football, isn't it? I mean, you know, it's just something that you've got to adapt to straight away. It's not something that we've never done before. It's not as if we're playing on the beach. You know, we're playing on a football pitch, which is 3G, and there's no real big issues really.
And as you rightly say, Tamworth's form has fallen off since Dyche left to go to Dynton. Probably the most inconsistent team in the whole division at Tamworth, aren't they?
Yeah, but also capable of doing something. You know, I think, you know, they go to Spennymoor last week. You know, they lose 1-0. They had a goal disallowed. Possibly it could have been, you know, a 1-1 on the day, and they come away with nothing. So, you know, don't underestimate them just because they've lost probably their key player. But you know, they're a team that can produce if you don't turn up. So we've got to make sure that everybody that arrives that ground is on it.
And I'll have a look at the team that played in that game at Spennymoor last week. Almost a completely different team to the one that played it. It's not just Dyche who isn't in the starting 11, but it was pretty different to what you came up against 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah, they brought 1 or 2 young lads in from Football League clubs. The young boy Dan Turner's coming from Port Vale, and you know, it's very difficult for all managers. But even, you know, Andy Morrell's a good manager. He knows the game, but I'm sure he's got a limited budget to work with. So you know, it's like, how do you replace a John Park and how do you replace Rhys Dyche at that stage in the season? It's virtually impossible, isn't it? Who wants to let them go unless there's a real big fee behind it? So you know, the momentum of what he was giving them is probably dropped off, and probably is what he brought around the change room as well as being a senior. So it's not all about that player, but equally it's about what we do when we get there, and I think we've got to maximise what we do now.
Let's talk about your side then. You changed to the 3 centre-halves at half-time, the start of the second half at Stockport. I appreciate Stockport set off a lot in that second half, but you did look a little bit more solid. Do you think that's fair?
I thought it was more attack-minded we were. I think I was more happy with that. You know, they defended for 45 minutes and the keeper gets man of the match. equally, I think we looked to play higher up the pitch. I thought our wing backs got up high, Ferguson and Connor Brown. I thought Morkay got in some great areas, and I thought the distribution from the three at the back was very good, and we were patient, but just again couldn't score at the right time. But I thought the formation, it was good. What was great about it, you've got three natural centre halves. Dan Parslow, he's been great since I've been around the club, and he had no concerns of putting him in the middle of the three. Johnny Byrne and Hamza, very comfortable footballers as centre half, so they stepped out with the ball well. So it's something that we have in our mind that we could work with going forward.
Yeah, the Johnny Pazzo just told us he played the centre of the three as well when he was at Cheltenham a couple of years back. So clearly, it's a role that he's suited to. Looking ahead of your team then for the weekend, have you got any more injury concerns apart from the John Parkin that we know about? No,
everybody's good. Lewis Armand, got himself 50, 60 minutes under his belt on Tuesday night. He's not match fit. He's not ready to start games, but he'll come into contention with the squad this weekend. Clovis Camjo, he's still weeks away from sort of getting anywhere near that environment if he was to get there. But it was just great that he got himself. He's been on a long journey. He has. So there were the pluses that came out this midweek reserve team game. But apart from that, you say Simon Heslop, who I thought was very, very good. I thought his performance, his experience, and his maturity, the way he played the game, was good. And we're going into the game, with a clean bill of health.
Since Simon Heslop's come back into the team, do you agree that his performances have been better than what they were before when he was left out?
I thought his first 4 games were good. Were good. They were solid, and obviously, we had what happened at the time. But I thought there wasn't he didn't show anything more than he should at the time. I think it's probably, he wants to prove a point to everybody, and I totally get that. To me, to the football people of the club, to the fans, and we've got to make sure that he backs himself, we back him, show some trust in him, and I think he's a major asset as a player, certainly with his experience, and he's got to maintain that standard of performance that he did on Saturday now.
Was that a difficult conversation at first, because you said he wasn't going to play for the football club again? Clearly then he comes back and says he wants to play, I presume.
It was difficult, but it was a conversation that we had to bring to closure, which we are going to go with this. We're paying somebody, and he's a York City player. He's more than he's too good to sit in the stand. I never wanted him to leave in the first place, but I think it's what we do going forward, and I think we've got to get the best out of Simon, and he wants to do well for the football club, and that's the most important thing.
So where have you left it with him? Is he going to be here now for the rest of the season, do you think, or is he still available for a move if someone came in for him?
Yeah, we're not looking to move him out. I think we've got to get a promotion, and I think he's part of what we're trying to gain this season. I think we'll address it come the end of the season.
Alex Patterson, I think he's still at Middlesbrough. Is there any movement on that now the transfer window's closed?
We're working hard. We're hoping to have something done for the weekend. We were on the phone all day yesterday to Middlesbrough. Parked my car outside the training ground yesterday. We worked very, very closely with Middlesbrough. I've got great relationships up there with the staff, and I'm hoping that next 24 hours he can be in this building till the end of the season.
What are the issues you're having to overcome at the minute with that?
It's just about getting I think it's more from Middlesbrough's end rather than our end. Ours is quite straightforward. They've been fantastic and helping us in the first place. I think there's 1 or 2 things that they needed time from their end.
And obviously he wants to come back.
He does. Listen, his ambition was to play in the Football League, and it hasn't opened up in the window for certain reasons. But for me, this is a great sort of learning curve for him. He's come here, he knows what it's about. Hopefully comes back with us and gives us that real great push. I thought he was magnificent when he was here for the month, and he'll only strengthen the squad going forward.
One more about John Parkin. We know he can't play because of the injury situation. The concerns maybe what could happen, because he played last season for York on a 3G at Sutton, but no issues whatsoever, continued to play the rest of the season. So it's part of it mental with John Parkin. Then if you are concerned mentally, you're not going to be able to perform to your best anyway. I just, you've got to trust the player, and I think, what John's saying, I think if he plays Saturday, he could be out 2 or 3 weeks. In the bigger picture, if it was the last game of the season, you're playing John. It's a bit different in the playoffs. Say you've got Harry.
Yeah, it's a totally different ball game. He plays, but I think with 14 games to go, him to miss the next 3 or 4 just for 1 game, it would be crazy.
How does that affect then the formation and the personnel at the top end of the pitch for you? And is it a good chance to try something different?
Well, for one thing, sure, we've got to play more balls into feet, because John's I set as a target man of helping balls on and keeping the ball at the pitch. You know, it's you're going to miss that focal point. But equally, you know, it's about players who get the opportunity to step up. We're heavily in the transfer market today, trying to do some business in that area of the pitch. So, you know, hopefully by the weekend we maybe have 1 or 2 players in.
How many more are you looking to bring in? And would you like to try and get all your business done now so they can stay with you till the end of the season?
Yeah, very much so, very much so. But it's about recruitment's key, and I think it's about making sure that we bring the right ones in. You know, we don't have limited resources of finances as much as we well support from the chairman, but we can't just keep going out and signing players and signing players. We've got to make sure whoever we bring in have got to be here to improve the team.
And you would love to go into a massive game here against Salford next week with another 3 points under your belt. Yeah,
definitely. I think it is that is key, but obviously, you know, everyone's got the eye on what's happening next week. You know, everybody seems to be win, lose, win. You know, and I think Salford and Harrogate's sort of in that trend as well. I think if Salford had some sort of stability, they probably should have run away with the league by now. They've had a 12 or 15 point gap at one stage, and it's now closed down to 6, then to 8, and then so, you know, as they slip up, Harrogate slip up. So no one's really sort of got hold of it still. But you know, they're a strong force. They've got a great football club in place there. That, you know, they've gone on from strength to strength every year, and you know, we'll address that one come next week now.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.